Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the changes that is happening right now in our climate. Climate change is one of the toughest issues that we are facing. It has become a primary issue in many countries across the globe. Many organizations globally are working their best to prevent climate change from getting worse in the future. We must act before it's too late. Climate change is a fact and affects our lives one way or another. In the article Everything Changes, Naomi Klein wrote, quote, "The temperatures in the summer of 2012 were indeed unusually hot, as they were the year before and the year after." End quote. Carbon dioxide increases the global warming on Earth, and we see the consequences in many parts of the world, such as ice began to melt even more. Naomi Klein explains that every form of emission leads to some temperature increase that leads to the rise of sea level. For instance, many people have lost their homes and lives due to heavy flooding. World Meteorological Organization report number 1252, entitled State of Climate Services 2020, states that between 1970 and 2019, 79% of disasters worldwide involved weather, water, and climate-related hazards, which is responsible for 56% deaths and 75% economic losses globally. It also states that for the last 10 years, from 2010 to 2019, the percentage of disasters associated with weather, climate, and water-related events increased by 9% compared to the previous decade. Climate change is a global problem that goes beyond borders of every country that requires synchronized solutions. Many countries have started to understand that climate issue is everybody's problem, and that is why 197 countries signed the Paris Agreement. Quote, "The agreement includes commitments from all countries to reduce their emissions and work together to adapt to the impacts of climate change, and calls on countries to strengthen their commitments over time." End quote. However, there are a lot of theories saying that all about climate change issue is just a hoax. Professor Karen Douglas explains in her research article entitled Climate Change: Why the Conspiracy Theories Are Dangerous. One of these many theories is that scientists are fabricating their data to gain political power and to support politicians striving for power. In short, this theory argues that the case for global warming is just a political stunt. Climate change is a fact and a serious situation that humanity should address seriously. Nature is not only our home, but everything that keeps us alive. It provides us the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. We contribute to the occurrence of pollution regardless of what we do in our everyday lives. Efforts like the Paris Agreement to develop newer and cleaner energy sources are a good start to stop climate change in many ways, but each of us should contribute to taking care of our environment, so that the future generation will be able to enjoy this planet. Yes, climate change is a fact and affects our lives one way or another. We should ensure that our actions do not end up harming the environment, as we are the ones to suffer sooner or later. Nowadays, younger generations have become aware and more involved in preventing climate change. For instance, we have a young Swedish environmental activist named Greta Thunberg, who is trying to inform and influence the lawmakers around the world into addressing climate change and its consequences. On September 2018, Thunberg missed school to sit outside the country's parliament with a sign that says Skolstrejk för klimatet. School strike for climate. On the first day of the strike, she sat alone, but many people joined her each day and her story got international attention. Thunberg continued to skip classes on Fridays to strike for climate change. These days were then called Fridays for Future. Since then, her actions have inspired students worldwide to participate in their own Fridays for Future. The strikes were then held in countries such as Belgium, Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, Finland, Denmark, France, and Netherlands. I hope this presentation will inspire you to take your part so that catastrophes will be avoided due to climate change. Small acts like stop using plastics or stop throwing plastics directly into the sea, sorting out garbage in a correct manner, and recycling materials that can be recycled are just small acts that you can do to contribute to preserving our planet.